This video is a 3-part series sharing what I think are the best and easiest ways to get and maintain a lean and muscular look. Said differently, I'll do my best to summarize how I built and continue improving my physique without restrictions and suffering. Starting with nutrition, this part covers a few dietary approaches that really changed my life. The second and the third will cover the role of willpower, such as what I do at the gym and my overall physical activity. Since there's plenty to cover, I'll keep things as concise as possible, and if my viewers are interested, I'll elaborate on the discussed subjects in future videos. Disclaimer: the purpose of this content isn't to argue my approach is better than the others, nor claim one method is more scientific. Apparently, people are getting in shape in various ways, and there's plenty of science to back or deny everything and anything. So rather than wasting time, I have two aims. The first is make you go and do something about your physique right after watching this video, and not playing another, falling into a rabbit hole just to find whether that another will support or deny what I say. Whether you do things in alignment with what I say, it's up to you. In fact, I urge my clients and readers to always be skeptical about everything, approaching things like scientists. That means testing things firsthand, comparing your empirical results, and developing a non-biased perspective, like a real scientist. My second goal with this content is to provoke you to consider body recomposition not as a project you do on a side, but to see it as a process impacting your whole life. To understand it can cause plenty of misery, but also produce remarkable results improving your entire being, not just look. And that entirely depends on how you're going to approach it. Hunger control. If I had one dietary tip for my younger self, then controlling hunger would undoubtedly be the one. The reason is that by doing so, you control both your insulin and your calories. So let's start with the first. Insulin. While low-carb purists demonize it, pro-bodybuilders inject its synthetic form, and many people have no idea of its impact on their physiques and health, insulin is crucial to understand to get lean and muscular. It may sound like an exaggeration, but to a vast extent controlling hunger and insulin is the way to control how you feel and look, or at least that's true regarding what you do outside the gym. Gods, I really wish I had known that when starting. If I did, my physique would be on a whole different level now, and you can take that as the most important message in the entire video. Pay attention that I'm saying controlling, not avoiding spiking insulin by any chance. That means being strategic with it, not letting it prevent fat burning when that's most likely to happen, but also taking advantage of it to recover and actually build muscle. Given that the best is to look at insulin as a double-edged sword, or to accept that the dose and frequency make not just the poison, but also the cure, or in this case, the solution to getting lean and muscular. Sure, insulin inhibits lipolysis and can make you fat or fatter, to which there are no limitations. Still, it can also make you muscular or more muscular, helping you reach your genetic potential. This is where insulin sensitivity comes into play. Taking advantage of insulin requires high insulin sensitivity, which requires insulin to work correctly in the first place. The opposite of that is insulin resistance, which is the #1 cause of the worldwide obesity pandemic. Insulin is a storing hormone. Its primary function is lowering and maintaining blood glucose in homeostasis. Commonly overlooked, insulin resistance is a condition in which the cells cannot respond to insulin and reject it. In return, the pancreas secretes more insulin, which becomes less effective in keeping blood glucose low. The final outcome is type 2 diabetes, permanent fat gain, and obesity, which is the opposite of lean and muscular. The good news. The body of a highly insulin sensitive person secretes just enough insulin to handle a meal, and then it returns to burning fat as primary fuel, which is the state you want to be in most of the time when wanting to get lean and muscular. And this is called metabolic flexibility, to which we'll get in a second. The good news is that the more insulin sensitive you are, or the better your insulin works, the more efficiently your body utilizes the nutrients you ingest, recovering and building lean tissue. Also, the more fat you burn, and thus the leaner you get. Based on that, increasing insulin sensitivity should be a primary goal when seeking to get lean and muscular. When I understood all this, I achieved in 6 months what I didn't for the past previous years of, let's just say, using more conventional methods to not offend anyone. I also didn't use any effort save for my training, which I adore and always look forward to doing. How to become insulin sensitive. As simple as it sounds, increasing your insulin sensitivity mostly comes down to one thing: not triggering or activating insulin. That's mitigating or minimizing its spikes, or better yet, letting it drop for extended periods. What triggers insulin is food, or if you prefer calories, although there are no calorie products that can also activate it. As my viewers and readers know, resistance training can improve insulin sensitivity, but that is a subject for a subsequent video. Low and no carb diets. Since carbs spike insulin the most of all macronutrients, lowering carb intake improves insulin sensitivity. This is why low carb diets have become a popular intervention for obesity and diabetes. By requiring less insulin, they get the body out of the high insulinogenic state, and depending on the case, they either reduce or entirely eliminate carbs. Based on that, a zero total elimination eating plan might be most effective. Personal experience. On the contrary, although they are claimed as fasting mimicking, the years of experience clearly showed me that plain fasting is exceedingly superior to such regimens for improving insulin sensitivity and maximizing the amounts of fat the body burns. The same applies to improving muscular density and maturity when natural. An excellent example of that is when I tried adding butter to my coffee during my fasting, told that since it's only fat, it doesn't spike insulin, nor its calories count as much. In a matter of days, my abs, separation and veins got less visible, while my face rounder. This, however, is different from saying that no carb diets don't have their place. Actually, they are the best tool to use at the earliest stages of your adaptation. And the greater your cravings and attachment to food, the better and more efficient such diets will be. No-carb diets shine in several ways, depending how far they go in elimination and sugar detox. While that starts with eliminating toxicity, which, though not the subject of this video, should be a primary goal of anyone looking to improve their health, it includes suppressing appetite, readjusting your taste receptors to actually appreciate quality food's deliciousness, stabilizing blood sugar, and letting your body build the machinery for optimal fat burning, which is the basis of metabolic flexibility. Most important to many of us, they eradicate the need to use willpower, including decision making on anything food related. More on that by the end and in the next parts of this video. Before discussing the last in another video, I'd like to know how you feel about it. Do you agree or disagree with what I say? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. PYY and CCK. The primary way no-carb diets do that is by eliminating all craving-causing foods while stimulating the production of PYY or peptide YY and CCK, cholecystokinin. Being satiety signals the latter to tell your brain it doesn't want to eat, so slowly but surely your appetite falls and your addiction fades away. When injected with these, humans and mice drastically reduce their food intake, but if you want, I can do a video on that. Or you can check my OMAD gains book. Let me know in the comments below. Also check Rob Wolf's Wired to Eat to learn more about how some foods are specially engineered to actually make you hungry. Should you go no carb? Personal experience. Though definitely not a must or something you should attach to, no carb diets are just a tool indispensable for achieving the described. There were also the single diet capable of curing my food addiction, letting me adopt the eating regimen that allows me to continue improve my physique while enjoying life like never before and cycling different diets. Whether you take advantage of the two is up to you. I could not be more grateful that I did, despite not eating like that for years. More on that in a moment. OMAD, or more likely OMAD. While OMAD stands for 1 meal a day, my version should be called 1 meal per night. The reason is that I never eat during the day, but right around the time when hitting the sack. Although conventional wisdom demonizes eating before bed, my experience clearly shows it is one of the best things I've been doing for my body. And since this video is about body recomposition, I will start with glucagon. Secreted by the same exact pancreas areas, insulin and glucagon are the opposite of each other. When one is up, the other is down, and vice versa. Ben Bikman likens insulin and glucagon to yin and yang, but more kabbalistically, we can liken them to Hesed and Gebura or Boaz and Yakin of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The bottom line is that insulin stores and builds while glucagon burns and destroys. What experts and gurus often omit is that fasting, thus keeping insulin low during the day, automatically elevates glucagon. Thereby, the body mobilizes stored energy, which in the case of not eating carbs will be exclusively fat. If you are highly metabolically flexible with enough muscle and had smart carbs the night before, your body fuels certain activities with fat, utilizing stored glycogen for others, like resistance training. This is important because such a regimen activates glucagon precisely when most of us are most active, during the day. So the body maximizes its insulin sensitivity while actually getting cleaner by fueling all its mental and physical activity with stored energy. Then the night comes, my insulin sensitivity is extremely high and my muscles are depleted because of training and doing other stuff, so I eat my meal without restrictions. This goes to mention another crucial. Patiently undergoing such an adaptation readjusts the body to consume just the right amounts to stay lean and muscular without gaining weight. And this is part of the body system which doesn't let you become fat unless it's malfunctioning, like in the case of insulin resistance. While in modern times we have two camps of people, one denying and another supporting that statement, my personal results align with the second. What I mean by that is that I built my entire physique without gaining but actually dropping weight. I also continue noticing an increase in my muscle mass and density, yet I stay around the same 200 pounds. Supposedly, Vince Gironda was onto something when claiming that weight gain and muscle building were quite different and require non-identical approaches. As for the sleep quality, I started getting above 90% sleep quality consistently once I adopted the described eating pattern after decades of irregular and insufficient rest. A similar thing also happened to a client who was told to never eat before bed, but now finally enjoys truly refreshing and restorative sleep, doing the exact opposite. If there's an interest, I can elaborate on the mechanisms behind that in a separate video. Macros and calories. Okay, but does this mean such a lifestyle makes macros and calories somewhat unimportant? Absolutely not. As miraculous as it is, fasting doesn't provide the raw material for muscle building and recovery. You must get that from your diet. The OMAD plan and fasting in general will allow your body to make the best of the food you ingest, yet they will never turn junk into optimal nutrition. So the alchemical proverb that you need goat to make goat also applies here. Personal experience 3. Keeping my protein high, I changed and modified several diets throughout the years, all of which are very high quality, falling into what's called the bull zones. Starting with an adjusted version of the steaks and eggs, which some people now like to call carnivore or the lion diet, then I transitioned to a more paleo approach with safe starches and veggies, and now I eat lean meats with a salad, rice, isolate and chocolate. Let me know if you want a video on what my meal contains and why I incorporated carbs into my eating. All the foods I've been eating are also staple bodybuilding foods, while the chicken and the rice and the steaks and eggs are basically the gold standard bodybuilding diets. Such foods build the physiques of people like Frank Zane, Vince Gironda, Serge Nubret, Lee Haney, Mike Christian and others, and they seem to do a great job to mine. I just make my adjustments opting for low toxicity and products from farms removed from polluted areas. Properly chosen, such foods also keep most people well satiated, especially after undergoing a period of adaptation. Besides that, eating them has a ton of mental health benefits, although thanks to modern fitness influencers, most people think that you can just eat junk and be healthy and build muscle, and all that is backed by science. Intuitive eating. The point is that as long as you get enough good food and are more mindful of your protein by merely starting with it, you will get the results you want by eating intuitively and not restricting your body. As the time goes on, your body will adjust even further and you won't need to be mindful of anything, because your body will know how to nourish itself as long as you're patient and let it reach that stage. No need for complications. Every complication or tracking inevitably taps into your decisions and willpower, and that is precisely what you want to avoid if the goal is sustainability and long-term results. While I will expand on that in another video, here I will include a rule to save you plenty of suffering, not just in fitness but in life generally. If sustaining your eating regimen requires willpower or decision making, your eating regimen has already failed you. The earlier you understand that, the faster you progress. Calories. But do calories make a difference on such a regimen? Yes, absolutely. Actually, they make even more significant difference. Besides everything else, the lifestyle I've been following is based on just that, cycling between periods of a deficit initiated by 0 calories and supposedly a surplus, allowing me to build muscle as written in nutrition books. I'm saying supposedly because I do not track an exact number but trust my body's instincts and response. As mentioned, I'm really not a proponent of using willpower and decision making to stay in shape in any shape or form. The described regimen feels as if my body takes care of that on its own. The fact remains that eating once every 24 hours keeps your body in a caloric deficit for 21 to 22 hours, which is about 80% of the week. So I guess that's a modified version of the 80-20 rule. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Calculating or more likely managing things in this manner and really giving up on restrictions let me build the physique I'm showing you in the video with absolutely no suffering and childlike excitement to go to the gym. I firmly believe really giving an identical approach a chance will produce comparable or even better results for many others, depending on their genetics. And if I want to get extra shredded extra fast or have an actual reason for it, like when I had COVID-19, which you can learn more about in this video, I merely incorporate extended fasts. Generally that sums up what I do to keep the look I showed you in the video year around. Feel free to let me know what you do to get such results. Also, test the described method and see how that goes as a real scientist. And then share your results in the comments below. With all that, like this video if you think it provides valuable insights. Subscribe for more content like this. Consider checking my other content, books and music, including the tracks in this video. Support me if you can by using the provided links and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time.